Good day, fellow YouTubers. Well, actually, people who are more interested in editing. So, good day to all you guys. So, I already said on a few channels that actually in the last live stream I said I'm going to be talking about editing today. But I think talking about editing is a bit stupid because it doesn't really give out any positives. It doesn't give you any benefits because if you're not there, then you are basically just seeing what I'm doing and it doesn't help anyone. So I was thinking to replace that lesson with next week's lesson, where I'm going to first and today foremostly show you some software which you can work with alongside while I'm presenting my work, and so you can basically practice with a few programs. Now, some of the software that I'm going to give to you today is actually free, and that is the best. Of course, please mind that there are also some upgrades that you can purchase in the long run if you ever decide to stay with that certain software, and that is something that I think is just very important when it comes to the work. And today I'm going to be showing three softwares. Two of them which are free and one of them which I currently use, Adobe Premiere, but I still think it's worth considering to look at that one as well, even though it is a bit pricey, just because in the long run it might actually help you with becoming a better editor and understanding actually what the best software is on the market. Again, a lot of people say, what is the best software? It all just depends on your needs. If you're someone who doesn't need Premiere, then don't use it. You are the engineer at the end of the day on the software. You need to control that boat. So if you can control it as best as possible and create the best outcome, then that is your software to go. I'm not the one going to tell you this, that, or whoever is better, because that doesn't work like that. Everything has its own need. Everyone has its own place in the market, and this is something that is very important when it comes to actually producing content. And that is something that I also learned since I don't know how old I was, 2012, so 8 years ago. Damn, I was 19, 18 at the time. But this is when I started editing, and I really realized, as long as you find this path of growth, you know that one moment you need to let go of something to be able to move on. And that is something that's very important. But we can talk about that a little bit later. Again, if you have any questions, hey, Sophia, sorry, I have monitors everywhere and it's really hard to see. But thanks for your support. If you do have any questions, Sophia, just answer it, so you can always come back in the future and then we can talk about anything you need, because I know you like to do animation, so maybe this could be useful for you too. Because I'm not going to go into hardcore editing. I think it doesn't belong anywhere. I don't believe that After Effects, for example, is the key to success. After Effects is an entire new bubble, an entire new dimension when it comes to software. And in case you don't know what After Effects is, it's basically completely messing with all your footage. You know, you're completely changing the 3D architecture from your videos. So let's just jump right into it. I think I already have a page open. Let's have a look. First time I'm doing this. Why is it so small though? Let's make this a little bit bigger. Wait a second. I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. It's not on full screen. There we go. I think you guys can see what's happening, no? If I do like this, let's make it a little bit smaller. It's still too big. Oh, come on. Sorry, for the second live stream. For my next live stream, this won't happen. Anyway, so you can Google all of these things in case you don't want to hit into the link. But for the first one, we're going to look at Davinci Resolve, which I already have open. A little bit of background to Davinci Resolve is that Davinci Resolve is actually one of those programs that I could support. Now, the reason why I could support them is because it's made by Blackmagic Design. And a little bit of history, very quick history. Blackmagic is nothing more than a company that was sick of all the average mumbo jumbo in the market. So they're like, you know what, we're going to create our own cameras, we're going to create our own software. And they did this successfully. They are really doing a good job. Just to maybe show you guys what they produce, if you do have a budget for this. Blackmagic pocket camera 4K. So this is one of the cameras they produce. It can shoot in RAW, meaning it can pick up as much information as possible. Of course, this is a very intense camera to use, but for the price point of €1,300, I think also $1,300, you're going to get one amazing product. And I think that is the key to why I think Blackmagic is doing so successful. They also have a 6K version in case you want to just upscale your production, and it costs €2,000. These things are super cheap. I think maybe if you paid for these things 4 years ago, you're looking at 10K upwards. So now you really have something cheap, 2K, fits in the palm of your hands. I decided to not pick this one up on purpose because I am a hybrid shooter. I am looking at both video and photos. So having this, if I was only doing video, I would have picked this up, but I don't, so I don't need it. Please also consider, if you do pick something up like this, make sure your camera and your computer is able to function together, because without it, it's not really going to work out that great and you're not going to get the most out of it, because this is really intense to edit. Really intense. If you don't have the right computer, you could burn out your computer. That's how intense it is. And with burnout, of course, it's just going to crash a lot of times and you're going to lose footage. Don't waste your time on that. I think it's one of the worst things to do. On the other hand, I just realized there's this logo on both of my... I'm going to quickly change where I'm standing. That's the wrong thing. Let's focus on this. Let's put this up here. Much better. On the other hand, when you look at these kind of softwares, they are very good at what to do. They are trying to make it as simple as possible. And the thing I like the most about Davinci Resolve is the way it's integrated in the film scene. I don't have it installed at the moment because I don't work with it. I don't need what it offers. But the main importance of Davinci Resolve is that they really know how to color grade. This software is really smart when it comes to that. It really focuses on how to make sure the picture is as clean as possible and color representable, which I think is just ideal for anything. And yeah, that's also what I would recommend to you if you think, if you're going to make videos and you need more than just the basic cutting. Can you even see my mouse? But on the screen here, you can see representation of how it actually looks like. You can see at the bottom here, you have the slice and dice area, your workflow, and at the end of the day, you can color grade everything. And if you really want to color grade it, fantastic. This is the all-in-one solution for you. And if this is the main importance for you, again, choose Davinci Resolve. Personally, I don't choose it because I work with Premiere. I think Premiere offers enough as well. And I did use it once and I had issues with one of the codecs, which just made me rage quit the software. And it was me trying to edit one of my Fuji files in 10-bit, but it just didn't read it. And I don't even understand why. And this is the issue with some of the freeware. The freeware is normally limited to professional work, meaning if you do want to edit RAW, good luck with that one. Your chances of editing RAW is not really going to function that well. I'm not sure if they updated it since then, but I did not use it so far, so I would not recommend it for myself. But then again, if you're just shooting basic video stuff, this is perfect for you. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, to be honest. That's really it. This is one of those softwares, they do update it all the time, which I know. I follow the community and that is very important. It's very important that when you have a software, they update it regularly, because without these updates, you're going to get stuck at one point. And that is something that I just want to hinder people from downloading. And this is one of those communities, one of those softwares by Blackmagic. They do a fantastic job at just making sure that everything works and everything is running smooth. Besides my point, it did not run smooth, and that's fine. Also, in case you're wondering, people do use this software in the professional world, and as you can see, even process into... Oh, they see, you can even edit H.264, which is just a normal file, but that doesn't mean you can edit H.265 files, which is a different compression. But it is good that you can edit RAW, meaning you can basically edit your camera footage from here. That's fantastic. That is really good. But then again, please remember, if you do edit with one of these RAW files, make sure you have a proper computer for it, because it is very intense. Now, the second software, and again, guys, if you have any questions regarding this particular software or the next one, just tell me, because I'll just try to answer as much as possible, as simply as possible, and make sure that everything works. And I'm just looking through it again here, but like, for example, here, it's just the basic cutting that is important. But what they really focus on, like here, is the masking. They are really top notch with these kind of softwares. For this, you normally need to go in After Effects with Premiere, which is just very frustrating. And yeah, that is really what I have to tell about it. Now, for the next software, it's one of my personal softwares, and that is Hitfilm Express. Now, I've been using Hitfilm since, I think 2015? No, earlier. I know I was using this a long time ago. I can quickly look it up because they have projects here. 2014 even, I would say. So 6 years ago, I started using it. Now, I don't know how I found Hitfilm, but I think it was through a YouTube link, a little bit of a backstory. And I was thinking, what is a good software to learn with? Because so many of these softwares are there, but half of them are literally crap because they crash, they don't know how to deal with big files, and they're very just, they do more headache than good. And that is something that you need to remember. Headaches is something you want to avoid when editing because it just disturbs your editing flow, and it, yeah, some people might just know about it. It just sucks. You know, you're editing and then you're like, oh, it doesn't work. So this is one of those programs that I just really enjoy using. At the beginning, there were a few hiccups, but this is again one of those companies that keep updating their software. And the best thing about Hitfilm, why I really recommend this over Davinci Resolve, is that they have constant trainings online. They keep putting on different types of videos on how to do certain effects. And the beauty of Hitfilm is that it is a full package, meaning it will have all the elements from, for example, Adobe Premiere to Adobe Elements, After Effects, all in one package. And now, of course, you might be asking, that's fantastic. What is the only downside? Well, personally, it just is a little bit too much within one workflow. If you want to edit something, I prefer to first do the editing first, rather than I lost my train of thought. Rather than just going from one thing to the other thing all within each other. Meaning, if I want to edit, the worst thing to do, well, from my experience, is to edit, then add some crazy effects to it, 3D effects to it, and then go to the next scene. Why? Because it doesn't add any benefit to your overall video. Of course, these 3D effects are great, but it's like writing an essay. The best thing to do when writing an essay, for example, again, from what I have learned, is you just keep on writing. You write, you edit. And then when you're done, then go over it again and make sure that everything is fine, everything works properly. And then when you have to elaborate on a few things, elaborate on them. And with elaborating, I mean adding those 3D effects. So really just make sure that when you have this software, just make yourself a little bit of a flow, because it can be very confusing. You're really intrigued to do all these crazy things with it, because going down, also you can just see how many people are using it. People are constantly downloading the software. It's fantastic for that. The community is huge. They have all these amazing things that you can imitate, and that is something that I just enjoy the most about Hitfilm. It's not just a software, it's a community, and it's a fun community, and you can learn a lot from it. Now, what I would recommend here is, like I just said, make sure you build yourself a proper guideline for yourself on how to edit with Hitfilm, because the worst thing what you want to achieve is that you actually do all these crazy things which are not vital to your video, to the end product for now, and really just focus on the editing. Now, yeah, that are the two softwares they introduced. And the last one I don't even have open is Adobe Premiere. Adobe Premiere, it's all in German. Woo! Doesn't really matter. But you can already see by the prices that it's a bit crazy. But I'll go to the prices again as well with Davinci Resolve and Hitfilm. Because don't think because they're free you can't upgrade it. Of course you can. The only thing with Premiere is you can't actually upgrade. It's just what it is and you're stuck with it. And it is a little bit pricey. But once you get used to Premiere, and I think that is an important point to learn with. And one of my teachers in the past who I was editing with, and he trained me a few things. It is just very important that if you're going to stick in the business, learn the right tools. There is no need to invest a lot of time in learning a software that doesn't benefit you at all. Why? Because it is just time consuming. And even though it's true, all these softwares, they do the same thing. They edit, they cut, they add music, they do all the beautiful things. You know, you can change the colors. It's great. But when it comes to actually the small details, you're going to invest a lot of time into it. Because, for example, if I want to make a transition that is super fancy on Premiere, the process is a little bit different on Hitfilm. And that is something that I want to point out. We are going to be working with transitions, but for the purpose of these live videos, we're just going to focus on the basics so you can imitate them on all these softwares, whether you use Premiere, Hitfilm, or Davinci Resolve, or any software that you like. Again, please make sure you do use a good software, because there's nothing worse than editing with bad softwares. But please just focus on the making sure what is your goal with editing and what you want to achieve. Because if it was me and I did Premiere in 2012, I think I would be on a different level right now. I would have saved a lot of time that it took me to learn the software, and I could have put it into something good, meaning it took a long time for me to get used to Premiere. Of course, with the previous experiences, I know how to edit. I know my own workflows. I just transferred them to a different software, but it's just important that you know how everything works. So Premiere has a monthly subscription. I think per year you pay €280 for it. For that, you do get all the updates. You do get constant, basically the update. That's the highlight from it. And if there's any issues, Adobe Premiere, the team will help you with any issues. Now, After Effects, you are a monster by yourself. You are terrible. But if you can get Premiere and you know you're going to make money out of your editing, I would recommend Premiere. I talked to this with my colleagues on the podcast before. Just get the best of the best if you can. If you're completely new to editing and you're looking for something that is completely different than what you're used to, and you just want to put your hands and your little toes in the water, please, in my recommendation, get Hitfilm. So with Hitfilm, let's go to the store as well, so you can see that there's also a paid version for it. As you can see, it's quite expensive as well. But for the software, you get everything what you get with After Effects and with Premiere. So don't just think that you are paying €677, which is a lot of money in one go. I used Pro 17 at one moment. I really enjoyed the software, but it was just holding me back with bigger files and with codecs again. Same issue. This is where Adobe is really the top of the top. They really know how to deal with different video codecs, which is important, because if your codecs are not readable on your software, you can't edit and you're going to be stuck unless you reconvert them. And then you need to make sure that conversion program allows for your codec. It's an entire cycle. It's just a big headache that you want to avoid. But the reason why I would recommend for anyone who's new to editing Hitfilm is really just the community. Everyone there are professionals as well. But people here are just open-minded to new ideas, to silly questions, to people who are really new and that will take the time to basically find out how can we help you the best. This is also how I learned my editing. It took me a long time to understand how to edit, how to understand the basics of it. Where do I make cuts? When do I cut? How do I focus on my sound volumes? What are these things that are very important to me? Once I understood the basics, I dug a little deeper with, for example, 3D tracking. And they're still complex to me, don't get me wrong, because they take so much time to do. But once you get the hang of it, on this software, you can apply it to any software, because you basically understand, okay, for 3D tracking, I need this kind of shot, because it only works with a shot where it's able to read multiple layers of foreground, which is cool. You know, the AI on these softwares are amazing. But when it comes to really the experience and the slow learning, where you need to take your time, Hitfilm is just beautiful. They do a fantastic job with these programs, and they really just help people get on their feet. And I talked to one of the people working at Hitfilm, and they as well say their main goal, of course, is to work on these amazing videos, you know, making some sort of Star Wars replica. Back in the day, I tried to imitate the Iron Man face mask 3D effect. Super cool, because you think, damn, I'm becoming a filmmaker, you know. But you just learn the real basics of it, and you basically learn how to apply what type of file with what type of video, and how can I make the most out of it. And these are the things that you learn from these baby steps. These are not the things that you, from my experience, you don't really get with Davinci Resolve. I think this is quite a prosumer product because you're just thrown into it. Of course, you also just have the editing, the all the different options that you get in all the other softwares as well. But when it comes to simplicity and really making sure you get the support and you're new to it, please, I would recommend Hitfilm. I am not affiliated with them. I'm not promoting them. I'm just saying from my experience, I got the least headache from all of this because it's just a very nice atmosphere and it doesn't make me crazy. I mean, when it comes to Adobe Premiere, I would really just say if you do have the time to learn something from Adobe Premiere, do it because you're going to get a lot out of it. This is a software you'll use a long time. The reason why I left Hitfilm again is just because of the internal software issues that I couldn't edit my videos. They have limitations where you're basically forced to upgrade to Pro. One of those limitations back then, I think right now they changed it, but it's too late for that for me to go back again. Once you're used to Premiere, in my opinion, you will gonna stick to it. But with Premiere, with Hitfilm, back then I was not able to edit 4K footage, or I was able to edit 4K, but I wasn't able to render it, meaning I couldn't export the video in 4K, and it was such a headache because then I was just thinking, why would I even edit in 4K? Again, guys, if there's any questions, just ask about it. If you have any other type of software you want me to look into regarding video editing, just tell me. I can quickly look into it to see if I would recommend it or not, but for now I would not recommend anything else besides these three big players because they are professional, they all know what they're doing, and the communities are very important. Like I say, if I have to name it and rate them, I would say Hitfilm is the easiest one you're going to learn with. I think it's the better one to work with. But the second one is going to be Davinci Resolve. It's still simple because it's the free version. If you want to upgrade to the $299 version, where you get all the different presets, all the different possibilities, then great. You're going to do something as well. I mean, here you can just see how simple they line these type of things out. I think it's just fantastic. I think having these audio files is so important when editing. This reminds me a lot of Premiere, by the way, the green. But you're going to get the most. Yeah, there you can see it again. If you're looking for a full package and you have the budget for it, I would say just go with Premiere. Premiere is great, but it's not vital for our live streams. It's not important. The importance of these masterclasses is really just that you focus on when to edit, how to edit, the basics of editing, when to apply music, when do you look for music when editing videos, where to make cuts, what scenes are good, what scenes are not good. And I hope by next week I'm going to put a file together. I'm not sure if I'm able to upload it to anywhere because it's quite big, but I'm still going to put just all the files on my Premiere file software. And we're just going to go through it, and I'm going to display how everything is working and what things you should watch out for and what things you should not watch out for. Even for the video I uploaded yesterday concerning the review of the music videos, it's a bit of a tricky situation there because when you're doing things such as podcast, and for example, these are the things that you picked up, there's nothing worse than if it isn't live, just delete all the breathing effects. You hear them on microphones, you will hear them on these type of microphones, and that's fine. It's just important that you know, okay, that's not so important. Why? It's also because you can jump really quick to the point. Of course, if it's a live podcast, you cannot do it like this. So what you need to do is basically be ready to cut these things out if needed. If not, leave them in there. That's totally fine as well. But if you have the chance to cut things out, then just cut them out, because without them, it doesn't benefit you or the viewers. At the end of the day, you don't want to take too much time away from clips. And once I did a calculation, the short story of it was there was a project which I had to edit, and for every I just found like 435 of them or something, but those are 432 effects, and so I just cut them all out. But if you just pretend they're all 1 second, that's 430 seconds. Let's just round it down to 60 seconds per minute. You know, you're jumping at around 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes of footage that you can save. Imagine you're saving people 5 minutes of their lives from watching just the effect. You know, it's just bothersome. And these are the things you learn when editing. And that's the fun about Hitfilm, that you talk to communities where people have really simple questions and they just answer them directly. They just ask like, hey, how should I edit this? Like, hey, look, this is my first edit. How can I do it? And they really help out. And just follow them on Facebook, follow them on Reddit, any type of software. But it's going to be a fun time, I think. And that's the relevant of this video. So, like I promised, there are not so many questions today. So I think I'm going to leave it there. If you do have any questions regarding the software, then please just put them in the comments below. I'll come back to you any time in the future. And then we're just going to be talking about next week. I kind of like that. Sorry, I'm just looking at this. Can you see that? I think you can. But Blender is another software that is free. And what I like about Blender is it just gives people the opportunity to enter the world of 3D making, the 3D animations. And it's nice that now they presented that you're able to load in your Blender files, your projects into a Hitfilm file. That's amazing. You didn't have this a few years ago, but now you do. And yeah, like I say, if you do have any questions in the future, or let me say it like this. If you have any questions now, I'll wait maybe 2-3 minutes still. Then please just tell me, then I will answer them. If not, I will close down the live stream. Because like I say, this is nothing too big. It's me just displaying a few softwares. And if you do enjoy them, then of course, can I use this? Oh, something just closed. Let's go to OBS instead. There we go. If you do have any questions, just leave them in the questions below because I can just help you with them. And yeah. Am I still live? I don't know what happened. Did I just freeze? For some reason, YouTube Studio just restarted. But anyway, like I say, ask me a thing. If not, I will close the stream for watching. Thank you, Sophia, for coming by today. And I know you're quite busy with all your animations. Check out her channel too if you want to. Find her in Discord. I'm going to leave a link below. And for now, thank you for watching. I'll stick around for 10 more seconds. Take it, leave it. Anyone. I'm not going to buy it. If not, thank you very much for watching, and leave a like, subscribe, and see you next Thursday. And I hope you installed one of these softwares. If not, just try to follow, because most of these basics are things you can just pick up while watching videos. That's how I learned it back in the day, but it's always nice just to look at what other people are doing while they're editing, because if there's any questions, you can just ask them directly. So, thank you for watching. And see you next time. Info brought out. And no, I'm not affiliated with Adobe, Hitfilm, or any of those other softwares. I just like free stuff. Free is always the best. But if you have to pay, sometimes I see a reason for it, then you get to get the most of it as well. Thank you again, and bye-bye.